Thank you, Mr. Maynard, and good evening. Good evening again. I am Mrs. Amelia Wolford Williams, ESSER Director, and tonight I would like to share some information about ESSER and how we are utilizing ESSER funds. First, we would look at an overview of ESSER 1 and 2. ESSER 1 is the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security, or the CARES Act. And ESSER 2 is the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental, or the CRRSA Act. And both ESSER 1 and 2 were primarily used to support the rapid response to our safe return to in-person instruction. And here's an overview of how the money was spent. CARES 1, or ESSER 1, we had $814,568. And for CARES 2 of the CRRSA Act, we had $3,324,794. But tonight we want to talk to you about the ARP ESSER, or the American Rescue Plan. And again, I know I mentioned this before, ESSER stands for the Elementary and Secondary School Relief Funds. So on March 11, 2021, President Biden provided the United States government provided $1.9 trillion for COVID-19 relief. Of that, over $4 billion was allotted to the state of Georgia. And of that money, $11,611,755 was allocated to the Macon County school system. An overview of the ARP, or the American Rescue Plan Act. It provides a safe return to in-person instruction. Money will be used, or is used, to address learning loss through evidence-based interventions, also to target students who are underserved or disproportionately impacted by COVID-19, and to also maintain continuity of services for students and staff, which includes social and emotional learning, mental health, student health, and food services. So this is how we are currently spending our ESSER 3 funds. And again, we will talk about each of these tonight: loss of learning, continuity of services, technology, facilities and equipment, and CARES Act Director. And as you can see here, we were allotted $7,472,393 for ARP ESSER 3. With loss of learning, 20% of the total, of that total $7 million, 20% of that will be used to address our loss of learning. And here you see all of the interventions and programs, including software programs that we are using, or that we have already put in play to address our learning loss. Also, maintaining continuity of services. We have recruited and retained faculty and staff to assist us in running those interventions and programs. And the cost of utilities, we also use those funds to offset the cost of utilities. As far as educational technology, interactive flat panels have been installed and are being used in the classrooms. We have also upgraded the internet connectivity, which include replacing access points. We are also installing instructional classroom cameras to assist with our distance and remote learning. Chromebooks and charging carts are also in play. And let me say that we are now a one-to-one initiative with the Chromebooks. Maintenance and repair costs are also included in the educational technology section. Facilities and equipment, repairs and improvements to enable operation of schools to reduce the risk or to prevent COVID, including the replacing of the roofs at both the elementary and the middle school, purchasing and installing the HVAC system in the gym at the elementary school, installing touchless fixtures in all schools, also purchasing cleaning supplies to ensure that we have a clean and safe environment for our students, teachers, and staff. and yours truly. I was hired to work as the CARES Act director to make sure that we are managing and spending the funds as permitted by the state. Student health and wellness, just want to talk a little bit about this. We are currently looking for a mental health counselor to assist us, to aid us in assisting our teachers and our students with the social and emotional piece. We're also, funds are in place for our therapeutic services, which includes speech and language, occupational therapy. We also have our resource psychologists on staff. Continuing support from our school nurses. We also have a temporary nurse who comes in and help us, and the continued support with our school nutrition program. School safety plans, and Mr. Brown will be talking to you a little bit more about that later on in the presentation, but school safety plans are in place for each school. They're located on our district and our school websites. So if you haven't looked at them, we ask that you please, please, please go in, review them. And if you have any input or anything that you would like to add, please see Mr. Brown. Plans are reviewed every 6 months and revised accordingly to the CDC guidelines. We have had, again, ESSER in place since the year 2020, fiscal year 2020. This year, we are taking on an initiative, and it's called Maximizing Student Success. And we want to make sure that we are utilizing these funds to do just that, maximize student success. We have the opportunity to invest in initiatives that will support our mission to create a supportive learning environment that will inspire, empower, and nurture students to become productive college and career-ready citizens. And in order to do that, we need input from you as our parents, as our community stakeholders. So if you would, please, please scan the QR codes. There is a very brief survey where we're asking you for your input on what can we do to make sure that we are utilizing these funds to maximize students' learning. Also, my last slide, if you will, if you haven't, please, please, please order your COVID test kits. This is just another measure to make sure that we are keeping each other safe. There's a QR code here, and there's also a link that you can click on. There are maybe 3-4 questions there for you to answer. If you need our assistance with this, you can always call us. We would be more than happy to order them for you. We'll just ask you some basic information, and we'll have those ordered. At this time, I am going to turn it over to Ms. Bernita Johnson, our Family and Parent Engagement Coordinator. At this time, we're going to move forward, and we're going to turn it over to Dr. Birdsong.
Good afternoon. Welcome to our town hall meeting. And I am Dr. Birdsong, and I'd like to discuss with you a couple of things. The first is our Operation Graduation. And we're focused on making sure that all students graduate. And that is one of our big key goals. Next slide. If you notice on the slide, we have the number 23. And while that is not Michael Jordan's, while that is Michael Jordan's number, that is not our focus. 23 is the number of Carnegie units that students need in order to graduate. So how then is the graduation rate calculated? Well, it's based on when students enter the 9th grade, the kind of diploma that they earn, and whether or not they remain in school the entire 4 years and earn a high school diploma at the end of the school term. Next slide, please. And you can skip that slide. A student needs the following courses in order to units to graduate. They need 4 units in English language arts and their specific courses, 4 units in math, and 4 units in science. They need 3 units in social studies, CTAE and modern language, as well as PE and health. These courses are outlined specifically for each cohort, and students, we sit down with each 9th grade student to meet with them to create a graduation plan for each student entering the 9th grade. Next slide. Some of the things that we do to ensure that students graduate on time is that we provide credit recovery, we provide interventionist support, we offer study skill classes, we have school level mentors, we increase parent communications from the school to parents, we provide wraparound services, we seek wraparound services. There are some things that may keep students from staying in school, such as maybe needing a job or needing part-time work. We help find those kind of opportunities, support with childcare. Those are the kind of wraparound service, medical concerns. We try to find support for wraparound services to keep our students in school. We also have an alternative school that is just not for behavior. We also use that placement for students to get ahead, to accelerate, or to catch up. We have after school programs, Saturday school program, which will begin next month. And then we're focusing on our Operation Graduation, and we have home visits. The state of Georgia has partnered with a new organization called Engage Georgia, and they are going to help support us with our goal to ensure that 100% of our students graduate on time by providing additional mentors and resources to our students in Macon County. So we're excited about this new partnership, and it will start next month. Shifting gears, want to talk a little bit, next slide, about the retention promotion policy. This policy was put in place, skip, next slide. Thank you. This policy was adopted and put in place prior to the pandemic, but was suspended due to the pandemic. But now that we're back in school, it shall be enforced. And this policy is for all students, and students in grades kindergarten will not be promoted unless they score a level C on the BAS or have a 190 Lexile score or less than a 15 on the EIP reading checklist. In order for students to be promoted, they must meet 2 out of those 3 criteria. For students in 1st grade, next slide. No student in 1st grade shall be promoted unless they have a level I on the BAS or a 420 Lexile score or less than 15 on the EIP reading checklist. All of these assessments have been administered throughout the school year. You have been receiving information on your child's progress and where they stand. We also have, we had a data meeting night with the elementary school parents. If you have not had any of this information given to you, please contact your child's school. 2nd grade, next slide. No student shall be promoted to the 3rd grade without having a BAS level L or above, a 520 Lexile score, or a less than 15 on the EIP reading checklist. When we talk about Lexile scores, we're talking about the reading level of students based on the STAR assessment. All of these assessments have been given, and you have access to this information. If you do not know where your child stands, please, I urge you to contact your child's school at this time. Next slide. Students in grade 3, and this is state, shall not be promoted to the 4th grade unless they receive an on or above grade level designation as determined by the Georgia Milestones Assessment. That policy has not changed. That has always been in place. Just want to remind parents that the Milestones Assessment will be given this year and all policies will be enforced. Next slide, and that's for grades 3, grade 5. Students in grade 5 will not be promoted unless they receive an on grade level or above grade level in the area of reading or score developing learner, proficient learner, or distinguished learner in math on the Georgia Milestones Assessment. Grade 8, next slide. Students in grade 8 shall not be promoted to the 9th grade unless they receive an on grade level or above grade level designation on the milestones in the grade assessment and score developing learner, proficient learner, or distinguished learner on the math section of the milestones assessment. For grades 4th, 6th, and 7th, students shall not be promoted unless they score a grade level on or above grade level in reading, developing learner, proficient learner, or distinguished learner on the mathematics section of the end of grade test. All of the promotion and retention requirements have the same appeals process. Students will be allowed to attend summer school. They will be reassessed, and then a promotion retention committee will meet and they will discuss, and promotion will be based on a unanimous decision. All of this information has been sent home. Next slide. For grade 6, students shall not be promoted to the 7th grade unless they have an on or above grade level in reading on the milestone assessment or a developing learner, proficient learner, or distinguished learner on the mathematics section of the milestones. And for grade 7, next slide, students will be able to be promoted to the 8th grade if the student does not achieve a reading level on or above grade level on the Georgia milestones in reading, or score developing learner, proficient learner, or distinguished learner on the mathematics section of the end of grade assessment and the milestones. If you have questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact your child's school or reach me at the Board of Education. My contact information will be shown at the end of the slide presentation. This information is also available in pamphlet form and will be continued to be mailed out along with your students' progress as well. Want to remind parents that school attendance is vital. Students have to come to school in order for us to work with them in order to ensure that they are able to move forward. We also need our students to attend after school, and Saturday school will start next month. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Birdsong. At this time, we're going to go back to Ms. Bernita Johnson.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bernita Johnson. I'm the Parent Engagement Coordinator for the Macon County School District. And I just want to talk briefly about boosting student achievement through family school partnerships with a focus on building parent-staff capacity. Next slide. So what is building parent-staff capacity? Pretty much it's the belief that parents, schools, families, and communities working together can create meaningful partnerships that ultimately lead to significant gains across the board in student achievement. Next slide. So of course, we know that parent engagement is a key factor in promoting and achieving student achievement. So with that being said, Macon County Schools recognizes that family and community engagement plays an integral role in student achievement. The parent engagement program values parents and encourages them to play an active role in all school-related activities so that we can promote student achievement. Next slide. So what all of that is saying is pretty much we just want to build partnerships with our parents, with our community, so that our kids can do well, so they can succeed and have a bright future. So let's climb the stairs to academic achievement through attendance, meeting instructional needs, communicating with the school, providing a routine and effective discipline strategies, and of course, supporting our Operation Graduation. Next slide. So let's start with attendance. And Dr. Birdsong has just talked about this. Pretty much, we know attendance is very important. Students must attend school every day for learning to take place. Learning builds day by day. Lessons build on each other, especially in subjects like math and science. So if your child comes to school every day, of course, they're gonna do better in school. So attendance can boost achievement. More success happens when students are at school, paying attention, listening to the teachers, and taking notes. So if your child does have to be absent, please be sure to notify the school. If your child goes to the doctor, please provide doctor's excuses. And please remember that if they miss 3 or more days, then parents are asked to provide doctor's excuses. Excessive absences can lead to learning loss and truancy referrals. Also, I did not put this on my slide, but also tardiness. It's important that your school arrive to school on time. Pretty much we encourage all students to be at school by 8 o'clock because classes begin around 8. And also do not, if possible, do not check your child out early from school because they're missing some instructional opportunities if they leave early or if they're late constantly. So meeting instructional needs. Make learning a priority at your home. We all go about our daily activities. When you get home, I know you're tired. You have to cook, you have to do chores, all of those things. But just make learning a part of your daily activities when you get home. Set aside a few minutes to encourage your child to do their homework, if they don't have any homework, to study, more importantly, to read. Encourage your child and you as a family, just set aside those few minutes to read. The more you read, the more you know. Encourage your child to always do their very best. When they come to school, we want them to know you can do it, give them that encouragement, give them that praise. We know you can do it. Just put your best foot forward and try as hard as you can. And if they are struggling, reach out to the school and ask for support because we're here to support them. Make sure if you don't have a parent portal account, please be sure to sign up for one. And if you have one, please log in because this is a great way to monitor your child's grades and attendance. You can download the AMP to your phone and any grades that the teacher put in will come directly to your phone. You can see it right there. It's live data. And also if your child is missing a class period, if they mark the child absent, then that'll come to your phone as well. So we want you to make sure you have a parent portal account and again, log in because sometimes the parents have accounts, but they don't log into it. Again, reach out to the school for any support and also, take advantage of the programs that we have to offer. Dr. Birdsong talked about that, about the after school program. We're getting ready to start Saturday school. We offer summer school. There are intervention programs such as ISL. All of these support the instructional needs of our students. So please, I encourage you to take advantage of that. Next slide. Establish a daily routine for homework and study habits. Again, make sure your child has a designated area to study in. Make sure that area is well lit. Make sure it's quiet. Make sure it has everything your child needs to study or do their homework. Establish a set bedtime. And that's very important. Me as an adult, I have a set bedtime because if I don't want to get up in the morning. So children need that routine. They need to go to bed on time, get enough rest. So the next day they'll be energized and ready to go, and they'll be alert for learning. Be firm, fair, and consistent, disciplined with love. Let your child know that, you're not disciplining them to hurt them. You're doing it for their own good because you want them to know that you care about them and you want them to do well. Give your child chores at home to build that responsibility. Have daily talks about respecting the teachers and adults and other elders when they come to school. A lot of times a lot of referrals come from children being disrespectful to the teachers. So just talk about that, and at home, teach respect. And also show respect towards one another when you're at home. And when your child does a great job, give them praise often. Children love for you to show that you care about them, you support them. So give them that praise when they do well. And then if they have a bad day, give them some encouragement and let them know that there's another day that they can pick up where they left off and do well. So pretty much I want to emphasize giving a child praise, let them know you support them, and just having a daily routine. And again, set that positive example for them to do well in school. Communicating with the school, again, please be sure that you have all the school contact numbers, whoever you need, whether it's the teachers, the principal, over here at the board office. Make sure you have the contact numbers and emails in case you have any concerns or questions. Be sure to know your child's class schedule and their teacher's name. That's a big thing too. A lot of times parents don't know what their child's schedule is during the day. And when they're checking their children out of school, they may be missing their math class. Or if they come to school late, they may be missing their ELA class. So make sure you know your child's schedule. So if you have to check them out, you'll be mindful of that. Don't check them out at the same time all the time. And if you need to talk with the teacher, you know who that teacher is and what that teacher teaches. And parents, please be sure to update your contact information. We need updated phone numbers and addresses when they change, because we send out a lot of important information. We use our ShoutPoint messaging system to send out notices. So we really need your updated information. We want our parents to participate in all of our school meetings, such as this one, any kind of school meeting we had. The elementary school just had dinner and data last week. Just anytime that we offer these meetings, it's just to inform you, give you the data on how your child is doing and how we can achieve student success. So when we encourage you all to participate in anything that the school is offering, I just want to thank the parents for coming out for our All Pro Dads meeting. That was a great success. We want to do more activities and have more meetings like that, because again, we want to form those partnerships with our families so we can be on the same accord so that all of our students will be successful in school. Next slide. And the big thing is Operation Graduation. We really want our parents to know that all of our students can achieve. And our mission is for all of our students to graduate from the Macon County school system. So what we're going to do is promote 23 credits. We want everyone to know that students need 23 credits in order to graduate. We encourage our parents to monitor your child's progress and make sure you know whether or not your child is on track to graduate. Make it clear that you expect your child to graduate from high school, because graduating from high school and of course from any post-secondary education leads to better employment opportunities and a more successful future. So start early with talking about career goals, discuss it with your child, see what your child interest is. A lot of times that can determine what a child does in school, major in school, what they're interested in. If they're interested in computers, if they're interested in helping others, such as nursing, just talk with them and find out what they like to do, and then explore those careers together. And make sure that discussing graduation and career goals is a part of your daily rituals and routines. Please, if you have the opportunity to contact me, I have a parent resource room where I have a lot of resources and parenting tips that can give you advice on how to talk with your child about careers, how to make your home a learning environment, just whatever the topic is. I have a resource room that can give you information on that. And when you're discussing career goals, please talk with our counselors, because they can tell you all about scholarships, how to apply for college, how to fill out your FAFSA form. We have all kinds of resources available for the parents. So we want you to take advantage of that, promote, support us as we educate your child, because we share that common goal. We want your child to do well, and of course, we know that you want your child to do well in school. So again, it's a partnership, just working together. Next slide. And my last slide says, let's work together to ensure a brighter future for our children. And how can we work together? Through partnerships, through communication, and through participation. So again, partner with us, keep in contact with us, and again, participate in all of our activities to ensure that your child has a successful future, because Macon County School System is committed to providing a quality education for all students. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Just want to also ask all of our online participants, if you will, please click on the link and sign in onto our digital sign-in sheet. There's only 3 questions there. It's asking for your name and your child, what school does your child attend. So if you will, please sign in so we know who was participating on the meeting tonight. At this time, we will hear from Ms. Gail Smith.
Good evening, everyone. I want to say thank you to everyone who has joined us tonight. Appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be with us. Next slide. And you can go ahead. I want to give you a little information tonight about our state mandated test. This slide shows a list of the tests that we are required by the state of Georgia to give to our children. In kindergarten, our children take GKIDS. This is an ongoing assessment that continues throughout the year as our kindergarten teachers observe and monitor our children. Children in grades 3 through 8 will take the Georgia milestones for ELA and math. The students in grades 5th grade and 8th grade will take the Georgia milestone for science. In the 8th grade, our students will take the Georgia milestone for social studies. That's our end of grade test. In high school, we've got our end of course. Now, this is different from last year. This year, our test counts 20% again. Last year, I think it only counted like 0.01, and the year before that, it didn't count at all. But this year, we're back to normal, and our end of course test will count 20% of the students' final grades. Our students are well aware of this. We have told them this repeatedly throughout the year. The four tests that are taken in high school for the end of course are American literature, U.S. history, biology, and algebra 1. The other two tests that we give our students are the access test for our English language learners, and then we take the GAA for our students with special needs. Next slide. When you get your Georgia Milestones results for your student, this is the different scores that you will receive. If your student scores as a beginning learner, then this student does not yet demonstrate proficiency on the test. When Dr. Birdsong was talking about promotion and retention, this is what she was referring to. If they don't score it on grade on the grade level for reading, then they cannot be promoted. So if they score beginning learner, then they have not passed the test. If they score as a developing learner, then the student is showing a partial proficiency. Now, that's not really where we want our students to be. We want our students to score as a proficient learner, which means they are demonstrating proficiency in the standards for their grade level. And we really want them to score as a distinguished learner, which means they are demonstrating advanced proficiency. If you ever have any questions about your child's results on any of the assessments that we give them, whether it's a state mandated test or just a local test, please just contact the schools or any of us here at the central office. We'll be glad to help you understand your child's test results. Just a little bit of testing information. You can go ahead. The important change, as I've already said, for spring of 2022 is the milestones end of course will now count 20% of that student's final grade. The end of grade, Georgia Milestone end of grade will count toward promotion and retention for grades 3, 5, and 8. Students in grades 3, 5, and 8 must score at or above reading level to be promoted, and students in grades 5 and 8 must score at developing learner or above to be promoted. That was not all of our criteria, but Dr. Birdsong covered that very thoroughly. Our dates for our Georgia Milestone, this is a little different this year. Almost every year we give the end of grade first. This year we're giving the end of course first. It will begin on April the 20th and will go through April 23rd. That is the first week for the initial administration. The following week will be for any student who was absent to do their makeup. End of grade will begin on May the 2nd and will go through May the 6th. And again, we will have days for any students who happen to have been absent to make up their test. Attendance is so important for taking our test. We want to encourage you parents, please make sure your children come every day that we are given the milestone. The students who have been learning and working online from home, we need for you to come in to take the milestone. It is not allowed to be given at home, so they have to come to the school to take it. If you can contact your school's principal, they'll be glad to help you know when to come and what days your child will be expected to be there. But we need to encourage you to please come and have all of our students take the test. This year, participation in the test will count toward our CCRPI results. Retest will be given during the summer for students who failed the first administration, and summer school will be required for students who do not meet promotion requirements. I want to tell you parents where you can go to get help with the test on the GADOE website. There are all kind of study guides and help for the parents that are working with your child at home. Is that the right website? That is a link that will take you directly to the information I'm going to show you on the next slide. there's the information. I've got it on another slide too, but there are some of the parent resources that are available to you on the Georgia Department of Education website that you can go to no matter what grade your child is in, that will help them prepare for the milestone. Next slide. That's okay. We just have a little bit of trouble going to the last slide. The last slide that I had just gives my contact information here at the board office. Our elementary school principal is Miss Sheena Brown, and it gives her contact information. Thank you, Miss Wilford Williams. The middle school principal, the high school principal is Miss Nakia Parks, and it gives her contact information. Parents, we encourage you to please contact us if you need anything at all to help your child be successful in school. That is our mission. That is our passion. That is why we come to work every day, is just to try to help our children be successful. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. At this time, we will hear from Mr. James Brown.
Good evening, all. Again, James Brown, Director of Student Services here for Macon County School System. And primarily what I'm going to focus on, of course, is our health and safety plan, our COVID-19 plan, which again, as a part of the fund that we received from the federal government, our CARES Act funding, that we had to present this information to you, and we must have your feedback. So at the end of this presentation tonight, sometime by tomorrow, there will be a survey that will be posted for you to respond back. There'll be just a few questions on there. It won't be anything long for you to respond to about our safety plan, and just to give you opportunity for some input. One of the things that we have to keep in mind is that one thing that we don't have an answer for tonight, of course, is what the governor has proposed about not requiring students to wear masks. That's being handled now in the legislature, and so we don't have any input right now at this point on where that's going. But as we speak right now, we do have, following what we have in place and what we know is in place to help our kids to be safe. And I'd just like to say that I have the deepest assurance in my heart that the members of our Board of Education and everyone involved here in Macon County School System are truly doing everything they can, have put in multiple layers of safety protocols to make sure that our students, our faculty and staff are as safe as possible. Next slide. And that brings us to our guiding principles. And these have been our guiding principles from the very beginning. And it basically starts by saying that schools, teachers, administrators, and parents must recognize that there is no zero risk. Reopening schools will require accepting that the goal is risk and harm reduction. We cannot promise anyone that there's zero COVID or other airborne material that's inside our building. That would be impossible for us to say. But have we put things in place to reduce it? Yes, we have. We have a layered defense mechanism. Macon County School System will deploy an all-in approach that uses every control feasible. Everything that we can do, I will assure you, we are trying to do at this time. But this is a shared responsibility. Macon County School System will require continual collaboration and ongoing cooperation between governing boards, administrators, staff, teachers, and parents and students. Everyone has a critical role to play in keeping each one of us safe. Next slide. So let's get to it. Basically, in a nutshell, our health and protocols really have not changed that much. So I'm really not going to read each and every one of these line by line. I'm just going to go over them very quickly so we can move on with the presentation and just kind of highlight those things that have changed since our last presentation. We still basically require masks. And I want to say that your input is important. It was because you, the parents, the community, when we first started opening school this year, if you recall, our first recommendation that we made mask wearing optional, where your response back to us was that you thought it should be required, and we accompanied that request. So your input is vital. We do listen to what you have to say. So at this point, as we speak, again, the governor may override this, and we may have to make some changes. But as we speak right now, masks are still required by everyone within our school system. Hand sanitizer stations are still available. One of the keys, this is something new. It was discussed, and we now have this in place, that now we have touchless urinals and toilets and faucets in all of our restrooms. We have, this includes air drying units for our hands. So we have tried to make everything within our school system, everything within our buildings, as touchless, as clean as possible, even to include our water fountains, which are strictly for refilling water bottles. We gave every child in this district a free water bottle. But of course, if you have one that you provide to your child, naturally so. But you know, anything and everything that we can do, anything that we could do, we have tried to do, again, to keep our children as safe as possible while inside the buildings and attending school here at Macon County School System. Next slide. We still wish to encourage everyone to stay home. Basically, I'm just going to summarize this, and basically, we still need you to stay home. Keep your children home if they're sick. We encourage it from our staff. If you're not feeling well, if your child is sick, we encourage you to keep them home. And so we continue with that position now, that to monitor your child on a regular basis. Monitor them when they get up in the morning before they get on the bus. If they're not feeling well, if they have a runny nose, things of that nature, you check their temperature before you even send them out to catch the bus. Check their temperature. If they got a temperature, keep your child home, make contact with the nurse, and we'll make ways for that child to be able to make up any work that they've missed at that time. Next slide. Now, there are some changes in some of our protocols when it comes to the day that you're home. I'm not going to read this verbatim word for word, just going to summarize it. We have basically reduced our days. If you recall, at one point initially a year ago, we started out at a point of as high as 15 days that you could be quarantined. Well, again, using CDC guidelines, we follow the guidelines from our State Department of Health, the federal CDC office, and all of the recommendations. We are in close contact with everyone on a regular basis about any new initiatives about recommendations for COVID. And so the recommendations were that we could reduce the days to 10, and so we've done that pretty much within our school system. We still use contact tracing. So now what contact tracing does for us, it eliminates us having to send home an entire classroom. At one point, when we first started this whole thing about COVID, we were sending home, if one person in that classroom was positive, we would send the entire classroom home for quarantine for 10 to 15 days. So by doing contact tracing, we now can be specific to just the people who are around that particular child. So that has allowed us to keep a lot of our students home, a lot of our students in school, and not send them home for unnecessary days. So again, we have been able to reduce our days to 10. We've also been able to, through contact tracing, to not send as many students home at one time. Next slide. Now, of course, we still are looking at probable causes. So now again, we still look at a probable case. So again, I kind of use the terminology. People have heard me say it around the building and whatnot. If it looks like a duck and walks like a duck, we're going to treat it as such. So if your child is at school and they report to the nurse's station, and if that nurse feels like in any form or fashion that there are any symptoms whatsoever that could be of any kind of airborne issue, including flu, whatever it may be, they're going to give you a call and you have to come pick that child up. We are simply not going to allow a sick child to stay at school. So again, some of you all probably listening have already at some point in time gotten a call from our nurse, particularly Ms. Butcher. And so that's just our policy and our protocol. We are simply just not going to allow a child who has any type of infectious issue that could spread to others to remain in school during the day. So again, that's our basic policy. What is new for this protocol that we've started this spring is that we've also adopted the policy that we can even, and again, this is on a case-by-case basis, but we, in some cases, have reduced the days of a child going home to as few as 5 days. Our nurses have a protocol that has to be followed. The key to this is you being in contact with that nurse and following their guidelines. You follow their guidelines, and they will then set forth the date that your child can return, and it could be as few as 5 days. So we're trying to do everything. The state of Georgia, the federal government, we all understand that being in school is important. That's not an issue. We are all very aware of the importance of being in school. And so we are trying to do everything we can to minimize the days that our children are missing from getting their education, because as already been stated, the only way you can be successful is to be in school in front of a teacher that assisting you in getting your lesson. So we have reduced, and this is new, that we've started this semester, that in some cases we will reduce the days for you being quarantined. Now, if you are an affected person, you basically have 10 days, but this is for quarantine. This means that you may have been around someone, that your symptoms were just mild. And again, this is on a case-by-case basis. It's an assessment by the nurse. And if your symptoms are mild, if you were just in contact with someone that was positive, you may only have to stay home 5 days. And in some cases, we don't even require you stay home at all. If it was just a contact, we will send you a letter. You may just get a phone call that would simply say, hey, your child may have been exposed to someone that was positive, and to please monitor your child. But it's okay to send them back to school the next day. Again, everything we can do to minimize the days that your child is away, yet to be as safe as we can throughout the process is what we're trying to do. So we're trying to navigate two streams at one time. We're trying to do everything we can to keep each and every one of our staff, your child. We're trying to keep everyone safe, but at the same time, we're also trying to keep them in school without being absent for extended amount of days. Just going to mention, of course, Dr. Carter is over our transportation, but just to mention the fact that none of that has changed either. From our bus drivers all the way to our students, everyone is still required to wear masks on our buses. And so we still have protocols in place for our buses and transportation as well. Next slide. Of course, parents, you have a role in this and whatnot. Again, that I just mentioned before, that if your child is sick, monitor your child before you send them out to the bus station. We want, for our younger kids, we require that some adult be at that bus station with that child. If that child is turned away by the bus driver or the person who's assisting the bus driver, then that child needs to be able to walk back home and go back home from that bus station. It is possible, and it could happen that a child is not allowed to get on a bus. So again, monitoring your child on a frequent basis, day in and day out, regarding their health is important. So just wanted to make sure to let you know that those priorities and protocols have not changed. Next slide. And again, as we've talked about, access your child daily is something that we want you all to do. And here's some checklist items that you can look at for the symptoms that we still looking at. And the key is at the bottom where it says alert. Alert the school immediately if your child develops any type of symptoms that are listed above. The key here is communication. The key is communicating between you and your school, letting them know what's going on with your child. And so just wanted to make sure I highlight that. And that then leads me to my last slide, which is attendance. And this is critical. Already you have heard Dr. Birdsong, Ms. Johnson, just a few minutes ago, Ms. Smith discussed the fact of how important it is for your child to be in school. And so again, it's a critical balancing act, and I understand that. But what we're seeing, and this is not by a lot of parents, but we're seeing that what concerns us is that it seems like we have parents who are not communicating with us, not letting us know that their child is sick, and you're just making that decision your own, which is fine. That's your child, but understand that child is now being marked absent because there has been no communication letting us know why that child is not in school. School attendance is the key for all levels of success. So now this I am going to read and kind of go over this very quickly and everything, because I want you to understand clearly how important this is as far as under my duties and responsibilities. School attendance is still mandated for all children under the age of 16. It does not matter if they are virtual. A virtual student's attendance is determined by their consistent log-on dates. Log-on dates are recorded by the computer system. All parents who want their child to be virtual sign a contract explaining this process. This is a binding agreement and can be used to report the student for violating state mandated attendance laws and could lead to a charge of truancy being filed with the local magistrate court. Whether a child attends school or is virtual, it is imperative that there be consistent contact with school officials, letting them know the reason for excessive absences or lack of log-on dates. Communication is the key. Communication is the key. It is strongly recommended, I think this has been said by Ms. Johnson, that all parents use the account portal, which is called the Parents Campus Portal. This will allow you to see all of the information regarding your child, their grades, their attendance, everything through that site. So I want this to be a relationship between myself and the parents of one of cooperation, one of working together. I'm from Macon County. I know many of you all personally, and so it does me no personal joy to have to take anyone before the magistrate judge. However, that is my job if it comes to that. But I would rather for you to stay in constant contact with the principal, with the nurse, and particularly the nurse, especially the nurse, and letting that nurse know, letting someone in that building know, elementary, middle, high school, let someone know why your child is absent, so we can have an ongoing dialogue and about the absences that we're seeing, and hopefully we can come to some type of resolution to help that child get back in school or log on so they continue to do their work and be successful. Again, I want to go back to where I started and say that again, as far as our protocols is concerned, we're going to have a survey that we're asking you, we really need that input for you to do, to give your input on our safety plan. And if you have any recommendations, suggestions regarding, want to just go ahead on, since it's on the agenda for me to discuss, Again, just to say again, as Ms. Wolfhawk has said, you know, we want to encourage you to get the COVID testing kits that are available to you. That information again, Ms. Wolfhawk is posted. But I also want to mention one other thing that I forgot to put on the on my presentation, whether we also again are looking at in the process of having what's called a telehealth service within our nursing department. This would allow many of you who have to work, you don't have time again to get off work to take your child to the doctor. Well, with permission, you will have to sign up a permission form, giving us approval. But with your permission, we now will have the ability to connect your child via computer network to a certified licensed doctor and given a true assessment, even to the point of prescribing medicine to that child right at the moment, live at inside the building. And all that information, of course, all that information will be forwarded to you, the parent. But that is coming soon. So look for information on that. And we'll be, of course, getting back with you and letting you know about that with more details as it comes aboard. But that, again, is just an example of everything that we are trying to do, everything possible that we're trying to do to make sure that our students and staff are as safe as possible here in Macon County School System. I want to thank each and every one of you for who joined in. I apologize for the fact that, again, as Mr. Manning said, that we had to log off and cut the system down, shut the system down early. I'm pretty sure we lost some people who wanted to join in. But again, all of this information will be posted on our website for you to see again. Again, thank you so much for your time tonight. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. We will now hear from Mrs. Joanna Daniels. She will be sharing information for English as second language stakeholders.
Good evening. Thank you for asking me to be here. My name is Joanna Daniels. I am one of the English to speakers of other languages teachers for Macon County School System. If you're a parent who speaks and understands English, but you read another language, Macon County School System would like for you to know that our website translates to 10 other languages and even more if you use Google Chrome. I will be translating tonight, so bear with me. Buenas noches, mi nombre es Joanna Daniels. Soy una de las maestras de inglés hablantes de otros idiomas para el sistema escolar del condado de Macon. Para los padres que hablan español, voy a demostrar cómo cambiar el idioma en el sitio web del sistema escolar para que pueda mantenerse al día con todo lo que está sucediendo en la escuela de su estudiante. In the top left-hand corner is the word language in English. Please click there and choose the language that you are able to read. As you will see, by using Google Chrome, you can choose from even more languages. You can then navigate to your child's school. And of course, it's not wanting to work for me. Give me just a second. Okay. You can then navigate to your child's school for more information. I hope this has been a helpful part of the presentation. En la esquina superior izquierda está la palabra idioma en inglés. Haga clic en la flecha para elegir español. Puede navegar a la escuela de su estudiante para obtener más información. Haya sido útil. Gracias y buenas noches. Thank you and good night.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Daniels. We will now hear from Mr. Maynard.
Good evening again. My name is Mark Maynard, school superintendent, and I am going to talk to you about something that is coming up, and it actually comes up just about every 5 years, and it's that time of year. Well, this time again, we're winding our current SPLOS down, and we're getting ready to ask the community to vote on this again. It is a continuation. I'm gonna see if we can get that slide up. And we'll pause just for a second till we get that up, because I do not want to get ahead. Okay, all right, there you go. You can go ahead and go to the next slide for me, please. Okay, what is an educational SPLOST? Educational Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax. It is a 1% sales tax that already exists in Macon County. This is not a new tax. This is a continuation of the current tax that we have. Is this a tax increase? No, it is not. Macon County sales tax will remain the same. The referendum will extend the current 1% sales tax for education for an additional 5 years. Next slide, please. What is the advantage of an educational SPLOST? Okay, the educational SPLOST shares the cost of education facilities and equipment with visitors and all citizens, not just property owners. Sales tax offsets property tax and keep property taxes stable. A reason to vote is this: it's an extension of the current sales tax, not an additional tax. So nobody's taxes are going up. Renewable eSPLOS starts after the current eSPLOS ends. So after our current one is ended, which will be in June, the new one will begin. Continue to ensure Macon County students are in improved, modern, and safe facilities. All sales tax is paid by everyone who shops in Macon County. If you go to a restaurant, or you stop at the convenience store, or you purchase something in a business here, all the tax goes to this. It's not just property owners. Quality schools promote a better future and economic growth. What will the 1% eSPLOS provide? Okay. The many include pay all remaining school system bond debt. As you know, 5 years ago, we asked the taxpayers to help fund the bond that is currently in place, that we purchased our new high school to help get that built. We still have half of the remaining $7 million that needs to be paid. So approximately $3.5 million still needs to go and to complete the bond payment. Renovations and improvements at all school system facilities, including roof and HVAC improvements, upgrade athletic facilities. Some of those would be included the track, technology upgrades at all schools. Some of you are seeing some of this. Some of our students are enjoying some of the state-of-the-art technology through this. So we encourage for that to keep going. Parking lot improvements, safety and security equipment, purchase of school buses and transportation equipment, purchase of music, band, vocational, and physical education / athletic equipment as well. Okay, this is about putting Macon County school children first. And next slide. This is our contact information. This comes to our conclusion of our town hall tonight. We'd like to thank for everyone who attended and who was on tonight. We thank you for that. Again, as Mr. Brown has stated, we thank you for coming back on and signing back on. And for those who couldn't get back on, we apologize, but you can go back and listen to this at a later time at the school system website. You see the list of the contact information of the individuals there. You can see the phone number and the emails listed, and everyone that should be there. Again, please feel free to contact us, and at any time for any reason, we're available to you at 24/7, but we are there for you. So thank you, and we just like to say good night and look forward to the next time. Thank you.